I released a video earlier called The Limitations of Astrology, and I wanted to share some further thoughts. First one, I said that astrologers are not as interactive as tarot readers. I wanted to clarify that I'm talking more about the system of astrology being very information-based. They have a lot of information to share oftentimes, whereas there's a back and forth in the tarot. The question and the divination and the back and forth of that is an interactive process. But in terms of specific astrologers and specific tarot readers, there are definitely non-interactive tarot readers that just lay the cards out and they're just telling you what is going on and stuff like that, and astrologers that take the time to understand about what's going on and how their information applies to your life. And so it's an individual thing in terms of how much personal interaction there is, but in terms of systems, I believe that a lot of times astrology is more one to the other information sharing. But the new thought that I had was that this connection that we have to the planets is a connection to the physical origins of our body. And there are rhythms. We live on a circular planet. We have a circular moon. The moon affects this planet, the waves, the energy. It's a very interconnected system, and we go around sun, and the sun is within the Milky Way, and there's just all these different cycles. And astrology is very much about cycles, but I believe that people can get to the point where they can live without astrology because they know who they are. And I think that a responsible and ethical astrologer would recognize this. This is true for any kind of healer, psychic, tarot reader. Their goal is to get you to understand yourself. But, as a person who promotes sites of readers, I want to also empower people to avoid bad readers, because they're not all good. You gotta know what to look for. And people that are empowering you to think for yourself, to figure things out for yourself, that's what you want to look for. We may have a material connection to the planets, but in my book, A Fresh Look at Being Human, Evolving into Spirit Identification, I talk about this transition that we're making from the body identification to the spirit identification, because I think that's where we're going. That's the way to deathlessness. That is the way to peace. That is the way to stopping the birth-death cycle, is to identify more with spirit, which means spiritual values, honesty, integrity, transparency. All of the values that are really global in their nature, what we value, living them, having the courage to live those values is crucial. So one day, you will not need any book, you will not need any teacher or guide. You will just receive what you need to know, and if action is called for, put it into action. And as you identify more with spirit, your material connection to the planets doesn't matter so much. What matters is what you are here to do, and you are internally guided all the time. Whatever you need to know, you ask for it and it comes to you. But how do you get there? That's the key. And a lot of people that are dependent upon systems of teaching and so forth, they're not going to tell you what I'll tell you right now, which is that this channeling ability that comes in through your crown chakra, the way to unblock that is to deal with your stuff. Any unfinished business, any kind of grief process you need to go through, relationships that haven't been dealt with. So often people just are cooperative in their families because they want it to be comfortable at get-togethers. But a lot of times if you want to get truly comfortable, you got to bring up some uncomfortable stuff. And so dealing with any kind of lingering hurts or traumas or resentment, disillusionment, deal with those directly with the people that they involve. That will clear your mind more than meditation. It will be such a liberating thing to just receive what you need to know, that you no longer turn to others to tell you who you are, because you know directly, but you won't access that. Unfinished business and all this stuff that hasn't been dealt with in your relationships with friends, family, people don't know who you are, probably in most cases. Share these things with the people that can handle it. Bring difficult stuff up in relationships, even if it ends those relationships, because the only relationship that matters ultimately is your relationship to your true self. And so don't compromise that true self in order to be liked by people, because it's just not about being liked. If you deal with your stuff, you will get it. And in the process, along the way, you will find other healers that will help you have insights. My partner Amanda at empathic.com has the ability to tune in to what it is. Sometimes it's not what you think it is. You might be asking about this, but it's about that. And she will tell you that. And this is what helps empower people to undo the blocks that they might not even know that they have. By working with a healer who isn't just going to tell them about what, is happening with the planets and so forth like that. There are influences, I feel like during a Mercury in retrograde, that things can be more challenging if I'm not dealing with unfinished business. It's a good time to take care of loose ends for me oftentimes. In full moons I can feel more sensitive. But I don't care so much about when I was born and that kind of stuff, because I'm getting the information at the source, and you all have a source within you that is so customized. Only you have an access, a full access pass to every thought, every feeling that you've had. No one else can give that to you. So what a healer can do for you is help you be more effective by giving you the guidance you need to stop defeating yourself. And it doesn't matter so much what day it is, because you can make today the day that you deal with your unfinished business in your relationships. You call somebody or email someone and you express yourself directly. We are transitioning also, not only from body to spirit, but from tribal to individual. That doesn't mean we don't have community. That doesn't mean we don't have different people that we're connected to. But when we were more primal, cavemen and women, chimps, to just survive, you needed to fit in. You needed to be liked by these people, or these chimps. But it's not like that anymore. You have to be willing to separate from what Carl Jung called the herd mystique. Stop prioritizing being liked and fitting in above being honest and being real and being yourself. Because even if you lose all the relationships in your life, you will still have yourself. And sometimes you will not have yourself until you do lose the relationships that you had to perform within in order to be liked. That's where true power comes from. Why do people that deal with their stuff get more information directly from the source? It's because they're at a higher vibrational level that allows them to access other truth. When you become truth, you can access truth. And that's the goal, is to be yourself, to be in honesty, to live in truth. And then all the guidance that you need will come to you.
Let's cut out the melodrama so we can wake up the whole wide world. Let's make up and start all over.